I had this epiphany, and I said, wait, I don't have to find a SAHARA. If I find a candy apple red, then I can get it painted.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for today. It's so exciting to see all of you. Today, we've got our guests, Alex and Dan Hubp and Jeremy. You know, we would like to talk about this special guitar, Reb Beach model. So, Alex, I'm gonna hand it over to you. So, please show me your special guitar. What do you have today?
Let's talk about this one first. This is an awesome story, and I'm really excited to have Dan on. I'm really excited to have Jeremy on as well. I had one of the original WRB SAHARAs. It was yellow. I think I got it from Malaysia, and I remember wiring money to Malaysia and not thinking I'd ever get the guitar, and then I got the guitar. At some point, I sold the guitar, and I was younger, and I had to kind of like sell something to buy something else. So for whatever reason, and actually been thinking about this story for a long time, I think I saw Reb during the Winger 4 tour, and I'm like, Reb, I found one of your SAHARAs, it's so cool, here's a picture. And he's like, oh, I hated that guitar. And I think I went home and I think I like cried a little bit, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna sell. I don't even know if that's fully true, but now that you guys are making me think about it, I think I was like, oh, if Reb thinks it's lame, then whatever. Moral of the story is, I came to my senses, I got some old guitar magazines, and I realized that even if Reb doesn't love the guitar anymore, like to me, it means so much because it was so cool when I saw it in the videos. So, long story short is, I went on the hunt to find one. And during the hunt, I had some guitars painted by Dan Lawrence, Mike Learn, and I had this epiphany, and I said, wait, I don't have to find a SAHARA. If I find a candy apple red, then I can get it painted, right? So I found a candy apple red, got it from Japan, and it was like a little banged up, and I'm like, perfect, because I wouldn't want to like repaint a perfect candy apple red. Long story short is, I got in contact with Dave Lewis because he was following my page. Dave Lewis was Reb's tech. I think they're still friends because I saw the credits in Reb's solo album said credit to Dave Lewis. Anyway, Dave and I got to talking, and I said, Dave, do you know who painted the SAHARA? Was it Dan Lawrence? Because Dan Lawrence does all of like the Def Leppard guitars, Zakk Wylde, and he's like, no, it was Dan who did the Winger album. He's like, you should contact Dan. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna contact Dan. I don't know Dan from a hole in the wall. I'm gonna email this guy. He's gonna think I'm crazy. You know, he's gonna tell me to go away. So I found Dan's website. I emailed Dan, and I said, and I remember the email just to this day. I said, Dan, I said, I know this is a super random question, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, just whatever, it's okay. I'm like, did you make the graphic for the Winger guitar? You know, so I wasn't expecting to get like a response or anything. And then Dan wrote me back pretty quickly, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I did that graphic. And he's like, I'm gonna send you a Dropbox link. So I get this Dropbox link, and I just like couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like the original rendering prototype of the WRB with like a really cool lime green headstock, and the full like drawing, like the full kind of like CAD drawing of the graphic. I was completely blown away. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe, first of all, I can't believe I'm talking to the guy who did like the iconic album art for that, and then to then get the actual graphics. So I sent it to Mike Learn, and Mike painted it with a paint pen, like a lot of these little dots, and there's literally like photos of him dotting it. But one thing I learned, and I think, Al, this is one of the few of the details that I wanted to share in this video, which I thought was going to be really informational for people, something I was shocked to learn. Every SAHARA that you see, even if you Google and you find old photos, they're yellow. So the one I had was yellow. So I thought they aged. right? Like anything old, like someone left it in the window, whatever it may be. But Mike Learn told me that the poly or the finishing or whatever they used was a lacquer that just yellowed, meaning there's no way to avoid those guitars getting yellow. It wasn't someone treated it badly, left it in the sun, kept it in a shop window, which is what I had always thought. So I was like, oh my God, I'm like, you'll never find a white Sahara because of the finish. And then, so Dan, I don't know if you're the one who told me this, but I had thought they were hand painted. But I think what one of you guys told me was that it was just a graphic that was slapped on the top and then polyed.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how they did, because they're all exactly the same. So there's no way that they had somebody hand paint all of those to be so exact. So I think it was just a graphic printed and then applied and then polyed on top. And the resin that they used, because mine has been in a bag for 30 years and it's as yellow as yellow teeth. So it's clearly not from any sun exposure.
Right, so that kind of proves it. By the way, it's so funny, Dan, because Al was telling me that last night we were just chatting, getting to know each other a little bit. And he's like, oh, yeah, Dan has an original Sahara. And I'm like, wait, why do I not? Because I know you were looking for Sahara. So I was like, wait, why do you have an original Sahara? Either you didn't tell me or I forgot or something.
Yeah, no, I have one here. Hang on, and you'll see how yellow it is.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. This is so cool, by the way. Because this kind of proves the yellow versus the white theory, you know? That's it. Wow.
Right. So really yellow.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's not from natural wear. That's just the poly.
Yeah, well, that's what's so cool about yours. Yours is so white. It's so cool looking in the white.
Well, I think when you look at the Guitar World magazine, this is what it looked like. It probably looked like this for like 5 minutes. No, I'm kidding. It probably looked like this for like a year or two. And then it turned like, you know, within 5 years, it was probably yellow.
Right, because the colors on yours pop so nicely. The colors on this have all become muted because of the yellowing. And that's what makes it so striking, I think, is the white background.
Well, now, Dan, by chance, do you guys know if the prototype that Reb had was so stark white because his was hand painted, or was his also the graphic that you had sent over to Ibanez?
I'm thinking it was the graphic. I think they made them all and then sent. He got several of them, which that's how I got this one. He I think was thankful that I'd help him make it, and so he gave it to me. I was like, oh wow,
that is amazing.
Crazy. So
I love that.
That's awesome.
Even though it's yellow, I love it for its historical value. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't even care that it's yellow.
Right.
I mean, this is cool, but that's just as cool because I feel like it's just history, you know? And it was Reb's. And one of the things...
It's kind of like the whole concept of like the yellowed Stratocasters or whatever. It's just, it has a cool vintage vibe to it, even if it's yellow.
Yeah, no, trust me, if I saw one out there, I'd get it. So guys, one of the things before we get into the next guitar, because I think that's even a cooler, it's as cool as this in terms of the story. One thing we keep talking about so often is like how many WRBs are out there. And I literally since 2004, I would say, which is around when Winger 4 came out, you know, I was really like so excited when Winger came back. I was so excited. I started looking for WRBs. That's when I found, you know, I had a red one, I had the Sahara, and we keep talking about, oh, there were 100, or how much were the graphic ones, and based on all of our market, based on how much time I've spent Googling, and Al, you said the same thing, there's maybe like 10 Saharas out there. There's no way there's 100.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably...
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah. Because, I mean, over the years, I mean, I've been looking like a madman as well. You know, high and low, all over the planet, and I've only seen a handful. And it's starting to make me wonder that if, you know, what we saw released in guitar magazines, how they were talking about them, like anticipating doing a run of X amount, if it ever actually got to that point or not.
If there were 30, I'd be shocked. So Dan, I just wanted to, you know, whatever you guys want to talk about, if you guys want to bring up anything, I think really what I wanted to do in the call was, hey, I got to meet Jeremy, I got to meet Dan for the first time. I want to thank Dan for just being so gracious in sending me that stuff and being so cool. I remember saying like, dude, let me send you something, please. Let me like, send me your address. I'll send you a gift, like anything. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. So I really do appreciate that, Dan. And it's been so fun sharing the journey and sending you these things, and having people who love this stuff as much as you do is so special, because, you know, not everyone gets it. Like, not everyone's like, oh, cool, Alex has got a cool winger guitar. Like, a lot of people are just like, that's kind of like, they're not into it, you know? Like, they think I'm like modern day Stewart. But I think it's all. I think
that's what was cool about when you contacted me. I was happy that somebody wanted to do that. I was like, that's very cool. I mean, who gets the opportunity to actually design a guitar for somebody like Reb Beach? So the fact that I was able to do that, and then you contact me and say, you know, I'd like to get the graphic for it. I was like, yeah, sure. What can I do? And so, you know, for me, putting it together and getting you a high-res version of it, and then watching all the work that you did to create it, and that red one that you got was one I was looking at, because I've been trying to find a red one. Now everybody's got a red one, but I don't have a red one yet. And I was going to bid on that, and then it ran away. I know. So together here, we have like 5% or maybe more of all of these guitars that are in the world between the three of us. But so I'm so happy that I didn't get the red one that you got, because you got it and turned it into something fantastic. And so the fact that now Al's got one and Jeremy's got two, and, you know, I'm so happy that there are guys like you guys that, you know, appreciate this, even though if Reb says he hated that guitar, that's hysterical.
Yeah, it's like you just crushed my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, from what I understood was that Reb thought that the production models were great, but he wasn't a fan of his custom shop original graphic. He said just the playability, you know, or something like that, it wasn't to his, you know, qualifications, but he said anytime he tried like a production model, he said they were great guitars. And I thought that was hilarious and ironic, a little bit sad.
Well, I think what he has, like, you know, I gotta say, so many people are so shameless when it comes to gear and stuff. And I think something that I think is another very cool Reb Beach thing is how much integrity he has, right? Because he loves the SAHARA guitars, right? And you know, I don't have insider information, but, like, you know, SAHARA doesn't tend to do what other brands do, like write you checks and stuff. Like, SAHARA's like, it's like old school. It's like, you want to play my stuff, then, you know, maybe we'll give you a guitar once in a while for touring, or, you know, it's not like if Gibson writes you a check, you know what I'm talking about? Or, like, it's just not the same way. Or Kiesel writes you have a contract and they give you whatever. Like, it's just not like that with SAHARA. SAHARA's old school. SAHARA believes that if you're playing his gear, it's because you want to play it. It's not payola with SAHARA. So SAHARA's got a lot of integrity. Reb's got a lot of integrity. And I remember I spoke to Reb during the lesson, and I asked Reb, hey man, like, do you ever think you'll have an Ibanez Voyager, like, again? And he goes, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I want to play the guitars that I like to play, like that I actually like to play under my fingers, and like SAHARA's the guitars that I want to play. And I just thought that was super cool, because, you know, every dollar counts in this economy, and, you know, even for artists and stuff, for you know, especially in the era of streaming music and stuff. So I thought that it's super cool that he chose as an artist to play the thing that he really connects with and he really believes in, rather than, you know, ditching SAHARA to cash in on something that he really wouldn't want to be playing on stage, which I think is super cool. And I think that's why these Voyagers, you know, are going to continue to be rare, and they're going to continue to have the value they have. And I think with the internet, to be honest, like, I think before the internet and all these, like, Instagram pages that kind of, like, celebrate these 80s metal guys and these old vintage models, you know, the market for it heated up, because now you have this concentrated focus on some of these rare guitars, and you're seeing it happen with Ibanez Gems, you're seeing it happen with the Petrucci models. Like, everyone's trying to find those early guitars.
Right.
And as new guitars get more expensive, the old ones get even more expensive. I mean, I have stuff here. You know, I don't want to get off the Reb topic, but I have, like, a Richie Sambora, you know, signed Richie Sambora USA right here. you know, I got it when I got it because I'm a huge Tim Bourne fan. Now it's like I couldn't get that if it would be like $12,000 like signed. I mean, I couldn't even. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
Just out of sight right now. Yeah.
I was the only person into 80s metal for like a few years. I was cleaning up. I was like, no one cares about any of this stuff. I'm just gonna buy it all. And then all of a sudden, everyone got into it again. And now it's like, it's not just like, you know, an older generation. You have younger people who like are playing all these songs and want to learn this stuff. And you know, now we're competing with all of them to find these guitars. So I think, can we just all agree that like we need to get more of the WRB? So if we can find, if you can find more red ones for us, we'd appreciate it. Thanks.
I'll do my best.
Well, all right. So you guys have seen these, I think.
Oh my God.
These are the knockoffs, right?
Oh my God.
Ooh.
So I'm putting together knockoffs. I found the guy who's making the bodies.
Can you unblur the background?
Yeah, it's a little blur. I think it's because you have the blur background on.
My phone.
Dan, that is so cool.
Well,
all right,
so
hold it in front of me.
This one I have too.
Yeah.
I love the Jeremy Black Relic. That's awesome.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the hardcore relic on your Black Sir that you love.
Dude, you know what? That's so funny. It does.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is my extreme modern Sir. And the funny thing is, Reb has something like this. It's
that's right. Yeah. Oh wow, white.
So here's a Sir WRB3.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Now, is that a 24 fretter?
No, it's 24 fret. Yes.
Yeah.
That's more access.
Where'd you get those bodies?
A guy on eBay is selling them. He does lots of knockoff bodies. They're not exact, right? They've been adjusted for the 24 frets, and it's for an Ibanez neck, the AANJY neck. So I put a Prestige neck on this. I've got RT50 570 necks on the other one.
That is so cool. You
guys, it's like the versions Ibanez never made. That's what I'm doing.
I absolutely love that. I think that is so cool. Yeah, Jeremy, we didn't speak about your the Black Beauty, as we call it.
Oh gosh, yeah. Me and Al took some time to kind of document this actually with the original owner. Kind of went through the story. So I mean, you know, the viewers can kind of go back and check that out. But yeah, gosh, it was quite the ordeal. You know, locating this, you know, getting it from, you know, him to me, and you know, he was just absolutely, pardon the pun, instrumental in the whole process, and I can't thank him enough. And you know, I know that it formed, you know, friendship, you know, with me, Al, and the original owner. That it's just like, this guitar means so much to me. You know, a lot of people might look at it like, oh yeah, look at that old beat up 80s guitar, but it's just like, it symbolizes so much between, you know, the music that had been, you know, the time frame of when Reb was playing these, and you know, the whole previous owner's catalog, which, fascinating guy, check him out sometime. He's written, you know, tons of albums of metal, you know, like soft rock stuff. He's a phenomenal player, but yeah, it's just such an awesome feeling to have a piece of history in your hands like this. And I mean, it blows me away to see like your mint graphic, because it makes me imagine that that's the kind of excitement and feeling that Reb had whenever he first saw it. You know, like after Dan and him had come up with the design and laid it out, thinking, you know, what's it going to look like? That was kind of their, you know, I can imagine, say, like Ibanez presenting them, you know, with that guitar, saying, here it is, and just your vision coming to life. And I mean, same thing with your Heart of the Young guitar. It's crazy that you can just take a vision and just bring it to life and experience it, and it gives you that feeling, you know.
I think that I think the thing that first of all, now that I've seen it, honestly, I think it's super cool. When you first sent it to me, I was like, yeah, dude, you need to clean that thing up. But now that I see it, I kind of love it. I kind of love it the way it is.
You know what? When we found this, we were trying to find out if it was just painted on top of the black was painted on top of the graphic. We were trying to find out if you get rid of the black paint, we can find the graphic below it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we found out by talking to the owner, previous owner. He removed the whole graphic and painted it black.
Yeah, you can still see some of the original yellowed like poly underneath the cavity, so you can tell it used to be a graphic model guitar.
It's funny you say that because it was still yellow after all that, right?
Yeah, it's still yellow even under the black paint. That's hilarious.
Wow. Well, I think one of the things that's like is kind of wild for me is that, you know, I didn't know anything about the music, anything, nothing. I'm just a regular person. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I got into gear really hardcore, and I was on forums, and I started meeting everyone, builders, player. Like I don't know how I did this and actually still had like a job, but I must have been doing it at some time. But anyway, I was on the forums a lot, and, you know, and I was learning and meeting all these people, and then something clicked, and I started meeting the painters, and they're like, oh, you can just contact Dan Lawrence yourself and get something painted. You don't have to go through Jackson Custom Shop and wait 2 years, because I waited 2 years for my Adrenalize, and I'm like, I can't do that ever again. And you pay more and everything. So then I contacted these guys, you know, and once again, I'm not an artist, so I'm thinking they're just gonna blow me up. I'm no one, you know. But they were like, yeah, we paint whatever, you know. It's like we'll do whatever you want us to do. So I didn't know that. Like I thought they were like rock stars to me, like the painters, because they were painting for like Zach Wilde and Phil Collin. I'm like, they're really going to paint for me? I'm nobody. But they did painting outside of the custom shop stuff that they did, that you know, they commissioned. And that really just opened up kind of like my imagination of what I could do here if I have these really talented guys, you know, who will do anything you ask them to do within reason. And, you know, that's the Voyager for me is the pinnacle of like all those relationships. And what's really cool, and I mean relationships are really are meaningful, because like a lot of these guys, like they deal with people who are like really annoying to deal with. And like, just so you guys know, it's kind of a thing. I don't even ask like how much this stuff costs. Like I just go, Dan, you know, I'll be like, Mike, just whatever, just make it happen, man, you know? And then he sends me the bill and I'm like, okay, you know, like I flinch a little bit. And then I'm like, all right, it was worth it. You know, my point is that like, I'm the same way with Dan and with any of the artists, because I say, listen, you know what? I value what they do. And once you have their names on the guitar, it's not like these guys are the guys. Like they're the ones who do everyone, you know. I value that. I value artists, right? So I'm cool with it. And you know what? Now that I have these things and they're amazing. I mean, I don't want to go off the Reb thing, but like the graphic guitars that Dan did for me are ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll see those.
Yeah, I'll show you. Like check this out. When I got this, I was losing my mind.
Oh yeah, that's
wow.
I mean, it's like you're in the building. It's nothing like it. So you know, it's just, you know, to me, it's like the dream to me, because the graphic guitars, like, I don't know. I feel like the graphic guitars were next level. Like, because, like, especially if the artist played them. Like, we know Phil Collin played the Adrenalize. You know, so, like, for me, I'm like, if I couldn't imagine any normal person could own them. Like, when I was a kid, I figured the only way you own that guitar is if you're in Def Leppard. No normal person owns that guitar. Like, I couldn't even believe it. You know, it was kind of like a Ferrari. Like, I just like, you know, only Neil Schon has the Ferrari. Like, you don't have a Ferrari, Alex, you know? So I think, to me, these are like Ferrari. Like, to me, this is the Ferrari. Like, when I was a kid,
yeah.
I was like, this is it. This is, you know. And I think when people, you know, Jeremy, we talk about this all the time. It's like, people don't realize. They see pictures. You know, they don't really realize the love going on here. Like, the obsession and the reason it exists. Because we all grew up in that era when people weren't accessible, right? Like, you didn't see, like, you know, so-and-so sitting in the airport bored out of his mind, you know? Like, now you go on Instagram and it's like rock stars stuck in JFK for 3 hours. Like, they were superheroes, you know? Now it's a little different. Now it's like, I'm walking my dog, I'm driving my motorcycle, I'm picking apples. You know, depending on who the person is, I mean, you see it all. But back when you were a kid, it was like, no, dude, they're not normal people. They're like rock stars, you know? And I think that era is just, if you live through that era where everyone wasn't accessible, you know, it was pretty amazing. And the flip side now is, now people being accessible is still really cool. Like I think Zakk Wylde playing like note for note solos from No Rest for the Wicked on Instagram right in front of your face, and you're like, oh my god, where was this guy when I was like 14? Where was Instagram when I was 14? Because I never knew how he can play these things. So it's all good, man. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, you know, back in those days when there was a little bit more mystique because you didn't really know much about the players. But on the flip side, you kind of are able to, I think, bond with, you know, a certain player that you follow or a certain player that inspires you more because you get to like know a little bit more about their personality, some of their interests, likes, you know, kind of who they are, you know, outside of like the stage, right? And I mean, that to me is just mind-boggling. Like, even the idea of you being able to interview or have lessons with some of these guys. Like, I was very, very fortunate to, you know, have one of those lessons with Reb, and that's just something that's just blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
So
I couldn't believe it.
We're so lucky, you know, to be in like this point in history.
Yeah. Al, you say?
No, I mean, you know, we're so lucky. I can't believe, you know, like, I never had a friend who was interested in these kind of stuff. I can't believe I'm like talking with Dan who designed it, you know, and now I have like friends everywhere in the world, like you guys, you know, can talk, you know, what we really like, you know. This is awesome.
So crazy to see so many of those guitars.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a little out of control.